1000 ዓመት እንዳይት ከመኖር አንድ ቀን እንዳንበሳ ኖሮ መሞት ይበልጣል።
Some people are remembered for what they built, others for what collapsed. And then there are those who built things that weren't supposed to exist yet in a country that wasn't ready or perhaps simply wasn't willing to receive them. Ermias Amelga is all three.
አባቴ ውጭ ጉዳይ ነበር የሚሰራው ውጭ ነው የኖረው በብዛት እኔም ተወልጄ በ3 ወሬ ነው ውጭ ሀገር ሄድኩት ውጭ ሀገር የቤተሰብ ስም የሚሉት አለ በቃ የቀን ምቅድም አያት ስም እየወረደ ይመጣል ቤተሰቡ ወደ ኋላ ድረስ ይታወቃል ሁሌ የአባቴ መጀመሪያ ስም መሃል ስም ነው የሚሆነው እንጂ የአባት ስም የሚሆነው የአያት ስም ነው
Born in Ethiopia in 1956, Ermias Amelga spent his first 3 months on Ethiopian soil before his family relocated to Egypt. His first language was not Amharic, it was Arabic. He moved again to Nairobi. By the time he was a teenager, he had absorbed 3 cultures across 3 countries. A fluency not just in languages, but in how different worlds think. He returned to Addis for secondary school at the International Community School. A brief enrollment at what is now Addis Ababa University, and then he left for the United States, where he would spend the next 2 decades. He earned degrees from Amherst College and Boston University. Then he climbed to vice president at Manufacturers Hanover Trust and later at Kida Peabody and Company, 2 of Wall Street's most respected institutions.
ተወልጄ በ3 ወሬ ግብጽ ሀገር አባቴ ውጭ ጉዳይ ነበር የሚሰራው ሄደን አፍ የፈታሁት በአረብኛ ነው 4 ዓመት ሲሆነኝ እዚህ መጣሁ እስከ 3ኛ ክፍል እዚህ ቆየሁ አማርኛ መጀመሪያ እንደ kindergarten እንግሊሽ ስኩል ከዛ በኋላ ደግሞ 1 ዓመት ወር 2 ዓመት ሴንት ጆሴፍ ከዛ በኋላ ናይሮቢ ደግሞ ሄድን ናይሮቢ እስከ 8ኛ ተማርኩኝ ኬንያ እዛ ስዋሂሊ እና እንግሊዘኛ የእንግሊዘኛ ደግሞ እዛ ተማርኩኝ ከዛ እዚህ መጣው ይሄም ማውራህ እንግዲህ በፈረንጆች በ68 ነው
Wall Street had embraced him. He was by any measure a success, the kind of success that most people spend a lifetime chasing and never catch. In 1996 he walked away from it. It wasn't a calculation, it was a week at home, a trip urged by his wife, not long after the collapse of the Derg regime. He arrived in a country that was, for the first time in a generation, being rebuilt, an economy transitioning from state control to a private sector that barely existed, infrastructure that hadn't been touched in decades, and a population that had endured a kind of suffering that cannot be summarized. For Ermias, the emptiness was not a warning, it was an invitation. His first venture was the Royal Crown Bottling Company, a sparkling water producer built on a repurposed oil factory. In almost philosophical fashion, he chose to craft a modern product from the ruins of a collapsed one. He targeted a niche dominated by Ambo, Ethiopia's established giant. By his account, the company captured 60% of the market in its first quarter, though no independent data supports that figure. What is documented is what followed: a 30 million Burr excise tax dispute and the revocation of his business license. To Ermias, this was no regulatory failure. It was a coordinated campaign, competitors labeling him a spy, calling his product bottled sewage, poisoning the public narrative before the product ever had a fair run. Whether Royal Crown was a victim of the system or of its own founder's ambition, that question was never cleanly answered. What's certain is that it was barely given the chance to find out. When pressure on Royal Crown mounted, Ermias pivoted, as he always does. Access Capital Services, founded in 1995, became Ethiopia's first investment bank. Its research publications remain reference material for economists to this day. The larger ambition was a functioning stock exchange. He raised over 67 million birr in equity. The government shut it down, viewing the concept with deep suspicion.
Okay, logic ምንድነው? ሶስተኛ ነገር እዚህ መሃል ታዲያ አክሰስ ካፒታል ምንድነው? ከዚህ ጋር ተያይዞ ምን እየሰራ ነው? አክሰስ ካፒታል ያው ሪሰርች እንሰራለን። አንዱ ይለየናል ብለን የምናስበው ጠንካራ ሪሰርች ዲፓርትመንት አለ። ስራችን ሁሉ በዛ ሪሰርች ነው የሚመራው።
He didn't stop. Access Capital moved into private equity, deploying capital into manufacturing and leasing. Then came the crown jewel, Zemen Bank, launched in October 2008 with 95 million birr in capital and over 2,800 shareholders. Zemen was co-founded with Tekle Alemne. It introduced something Ethiopia had never seen, a corporate boutique bank built around technology and high net worth client management, not branch volume. By most accounts, it was a genuine, remarkable success. In February 2012, the National Bank of Ethiopia removed Ermias from the institution he had built, citing governance violations and a conflict of interest tied to his dominant shareholding. He was barred from the banking sector entirely. Zemen survived, Zemen thrived, Ermias left. For those who believe in the pattern of systemic targeting, this was the clearest chapter yet. A man removed from the institution that proved him right at precisely the moment it was succeeding.
ባንኩን የተሰበሰበው ካፒታል ብሎክድ አካውንቱ ሳይለቀቅ ባንኩን አቋቁሜ ጨርሼ ሰራተኛ ቀጥዬ ዩኒፎርም አልብሼ አይቲ ሲስተም ገብቶ በጥቅሉ 40 ሚሊዮን ብር ወጥቶ 6 ወር ቁጭ አድርገውኛል። ኦኬ ማንኛውም ባንክ ሲቋቋም ባለአክሲዮኑ ተሰብስቦ ፈርሞ ምን ብሎ ብሔራዊ በሉ ስራ ጀምሮ አካውንቱ ይለቀቅ ብሎ ሲለቅላቸው ያኔ ብሩ ይነቃነቅና አመት ተኩል 2 አመት ነው የመጀመሪያውን ቅርንጫፍ ለመክፈት። እኔ ቀድሜ ይሄን ሁሉ ኢንቨስት አድርጌ ሳምንት አልሞላም የሆነ ማክሰኞ ኦሮብ ፍቃዱ መጣ። ሰኞ ዕለት እኛ ስራ ከፍተናል። ሙሉ ኃይል ሰራተኛ ሰልጥኖ ለብሶ ምን ብሎ ይሄን ሁሉ አድርጌ አሁን እንደ ፋውንደሩ የሚገባኝ 10% የ3 አመት ትርፍ አለ። አይከፈለውም ብሎ ዝም ብሎ አገዱ።
What came next was different. Not venture capital, not institutional finance. This time, Ermias was holding something far more fragile. The savings of ordinary people, teachers, doctors, diaspora families who had spent years abroad, wiring money home, dreaming of something to come back to. Access Real Estate made an extraordinary promise. A house delivered in 18 months, built using prefabricated steel frame and magnesium board technology sourced from abroad. The pitch even included a penalty clause. 5,000 birr per month for every month delivery was delayed. For over 2,700 buyers, most of them diaspora, it was irresistible. The kind of promise you hold on to for years, the kind you build your plans around. The houses were never built. Over 1.4 billion birr in buyer deposits and shareholder investments entered the project. Nothing came out the other side. Ermias cited a breakdown with his technology supplier. He alleged, as he had before, a conspiracy. Government-linked officials and journalists working in concert to sabotage the project, a claim he has never substantiated with evidence. The Addis Ababa City Administration's investigation found something more specific. Not a single plot of land under access. Real estate control had been legally acquired from the relevant municipal authority, yet units had been sold on those sites and full payments collected. The Ethiopian Audit Service Corporation found evidence of illegal and improper use of funds. Ermias was arrested, 2,700 families waited. Many are still waiting. The legal battles are not over. His most recent arrest is tied to the Imperial Hotel. The proceedings continue. And yet, so does the debate. The ideas Ermias brought to Ethiopia were not fantasies. Investment banking, a functioning stock exchange, a boutique corporate bank run on technology rather than branch count, these were not baseless dreams. They were, in many cases, ahead of the market's ability to absorb them, and ahead of a government's willingness to permit them. Many of these concepts were later applied, successfully, by institutions that followed him. His macroeconomic research remains in active use. His voice in the capital markets conversation persists. To deny his contribution would be dishonest. To not recognize his sheer refusal to stop, to wake up after each collapse and choose to fight again, is to miss something genuinely rare. And yet, the balance sheet of his career also carries 2,700 broken promises, over $1 billion in losses that fell on people who could not afford to lose it. A pattern, ambitious idea, early surge, collision with authority or reality, that repeated itself with enough consistency to be impossible to dismiss as coincidence alone. So who is Ermias Amelga? The honest answer is that he is not one thing. He exists in the difficult space between visionary and cautionary tale, between the man who imagined a modern Ethiopia and the man who, in the end, could not protect the people who believed in him most. In the story of Ethiopia's economic awakening, he remains a permanent fixture, simultaneously the architect of the bridge and the reason some of it collapsed, unbreakable, and, for those still waiting, unforgiven.